Hello, welcome to today's message from the Cow Pasture. So this is our newest calf. She was born on Friday during the day. So Jeremy sent me a picture of her and I said, "Oh good, I'm glad she's born in the afternoon. She can get dried off and get her milk before it gets dark and gets cooler." So she's doing just fine. We've got another calf that's come over to see what we're doing. So all the other cattle, except for just a couple that are coming this way, are up in the lot. And they are waiting on some feed. So I'll have to go and feed them next. I've already been to the bottom pasture and fed and checked on them. So this week on the farm, the weather hasn't been so great. It's been the usual checking and feeding. They still have their tubs to eat. They get feed, and then they've got hay that's put out in every pasture too. Other than that, we've had a couple of people come and look at bulls. We had one that bought one and hauled him away. We had one that put down a deposit to pick up later. And then we had one that said that he was going to send a check. So that's always a plus because that gets them off of the feed bill and out of the pasture. And that money can go toward the feed bill. The winter time is the biggest outgo of money because you have your feed bills all winter. And for instance, with the bulk loads of feed that we feed and then the tubs and a little bit of mineral, we had a $4,000 feed bill for a month. So that means $2,000 for me to pay and $2,000 for Dad to pay. And we have our own individual cattle. You notice this cow has a red ear tag. That means that she's Dad's cow. That one there on the left with the white down the face coming, she has a green ear tag. That happens to be my cow. All the calves have yellow ear tags because they're not old enough yet to have their own individual number. They have their mother's ID number. Okay, so anyway, we have next week coming up. We're hauling some calves to the processor. We've got one sold to a customer, and then we've got a couple of others going, 3 others going for beef. So we will sell our ones that are not good enough to be production animals for breeding. We will sell them for beef. So Dad always said when you're raising beef cattle, your end result will be that you will bury it or someone will eat it. Doesn't make you happy, but you just do the best you can to make sure you take care of them the best you can. They have the best life that they can, and you just try to do the best you can for them. So this cow has found her a little bit of feed here. And here comes number 4's calf. It's a really small calf, and the mother is not milking much. I wanted to deworm her and doctor her, but she did not want to cooperate. So instead of being run over by the cow, I let her go. So sometimes your best intentions don't work out. But anyway, the little calf is eating feed, and he's getting along okay. So today's message is from Jeremiah, the 1st chapter, the 4th through the 10th verses. Do you ever feel like that you're just too young or too small or too something to do something? Can anyone think of a time when you might have said, "I just can't do it"? We've all said that at one time or another. Maybe it was when a coach asked you to play a new position for the first time, or while you were trying to do your homework, or we've all found ourselves feeling defeated, saying, I just can't do it. Our Bible lesson today is about a man named Jeremiah. One day, God spoke to him and said, Before you were born, I chose you to be my prophet to all the nations. Wow, what a tall order that is. Can you imagine being chosen by God to speak to all his words to all the nations of the world? Jeremiah answered, I can't. I'm not a good speaker, and besides, I'm too young. Don't say I can't, the Lord answered Jeremiah. If I tell you to go and speak to someone, then go. And when I tell you what to say, don't leave out a word. Then the Lord reached out his hand and touched Jeremiah's mouth and said, I am giving you the words to say, and I am sending you the authority to speak to the nations for me. God called Jeremiah to a monumental task before he was even born, but he wasn't going to leave Jeremiah to do it all on his own. God promised to give Jeremiah the words that he needed to speak. Just like God has some mighty big plans for Jeremiah, he also has some big plans for you too. He knows your name. He knew you before you were born, and he has a plan for your life. There will be times in your life when God will come to you, as he did to Jeremiah, and ask you to do something important for him. He may call you to do something that you feel is difficult or maybe even impossible. You may feel like you're too young, or you might want to say, I just can't do that. But when that happens, remember what God said to Jeremiah. Don't say, I can't. If God tells you to do something, he will reach out his hand and touch your life to give you the ability to do it. Let's have a prayer before we end our message. Dear Father, there may be some things in this life that we cannot do on our own, but we know that if you ask us to do something, you will give us the ability to do it if we just trust in you. Amen. So tomorrow, instead of our usual church service, we'll be having a Fifth Sunday singing. So if you want to search on Facebook or YouTube, Traskwood United Methodist Church, we will be having, I think we'll follow a similar worship service, but we will be having a bunch of hymns, and there will be quite a few specials. People coming to do solos and specials. So that will be something out of the ordinary and special at our church tomorrow. So if you are interested in gospel music, please join us. We would be glad to have you watch our YouTube channel or our Facebook. On Facebook, it will be live at 11 in the morning, and it will be uploaded to YouTube probably tomorrow afternoon. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope you'll do something nice for someone so that they might see Jesus in you next week. Thank you for listening and watching. Goodbye.